So at the risk of coming off creepy and making a third video about Lindsay Sterling in the course of like 4 weeks, I'm just gonna do a quick little thing at the top here. Her new album, whoa, that's keying weird. Uh, Artemis, her new album Artemis came out today, which is the 6th, right, of September. So, yeah, you can go pick this up. You can buy it on iTunes or wherever digital music is sold. I think you can stream it on Spotify. If you do buy it physically, though, I recommend going to Target because it has 2 exclusive tracks on it that you can't get anywhere else. So, really, if you're going to buy it at all, I say go to Target and buy the physical version because you get the 2 exclusive tracks. So, yeah, that's cool. I really like the artwork in this album. It's very anime inspired. But yeah, I've listened to all of it. I love all of it, but you know that's to be expected. The best part is she does have a song on here where she got Amy Lee from Evanescence to do the vocals on it, and they work well together. So yeah, Artemis by Lindsay Sterling, out now. Go pick it up. It's a good album, or listen to it on Spotify. Not the point of this video, but I just felt like I'd mention it. Not creepy. Roll the thing. Hey guys, Sean here. So I am still in the midst of my crazy work overtime stuff. It's gonna be a while. I'll be honest. It's probably gonna go well into December. I wouldn't be surprised if well into December I'm still dealing with this, and it'll probably get worse at some point because the hours every day will probably extend. It'll probably reach a point where I'm doing nothing but that at some point because that's what happens every time. So, yeah, as I've stated in the past 2-3 videos, I don't have a lot of time to think about these videos, and so I really run out of ideas for them. And so I mentioned, I believe in last week's video, that I have a huge stack of things over here that I want to review. And normally when I review things, I don't like to do that in the vlogs, in the numbered vlogs, because I feel it kind of takes away from the review of the product. But since I have so many things stacking up, I figured I'd just go ahead and pick something from over here and just do that for this week's video. So that's what we're going to do. And I believe I'm going to go with these right here. Oh, more keying. So what are these? So these are Dungeons & Dragons books. They're Young Adventurers guides. They are designed to get younger Dungeons & Dragons players into Dungeons & Dragons. So let's take a look at this one, because this is the good one to start off with. So what this is Monsters and Creatures. And so if you look in this book, essentially what it is it has a bunch of the really famous Dungeons & Dragons monsters in it. Like the very first one in here is a beholder, a beholder is probably the most well-known Dungeons & Dragons monster. I'm now noticing as I hold this up, it is really affecting the key, the background key, but yeah, we're just going to deal with that. And so what it has in here is it has a lot of information about the monsters that you can't find in the monster manual. So you see, for Dungeons & Dragons, in order to play Dungeons & Dragons, there's 3 books that you need. And those are the Player's Handbook, which has pretty much all the information that a player needs to know to play Dungeons & Dragons. So that's 1. And then 2, the Dungeon Master needs the Dungeon Master's Guide. And that basically breaks down everything the Dungeon Master needs to know to run a game of Dungeons & Dragons. And then the 3rd book is the Monster Manual. And that has all the information about the various enemies that the players will encounter in their adventure in Dungeons & Dragons. But this book has some of the more iconic monsters and enemies that you would encounter, but made more friendly for a younger audience. So it has more like information that you wouldn't find in the book. It has like do's and don'ts. And also it doesn't have the stat block in it. Now the stat block in the monster manual, it's basically a block that has all of the hit points and all of that sort of information. Essentially all the math that you need to know for the game itself. And so that's what makes this more interesting and fascinating for kids. You can hand them this and they won't learn information that they shouldn't know about the creatures, like how many hit points it has, the attacks that it can do, so that it still keeps some of the surprise and everything in it, but it helps them better understand. And also there's a picture of all of them that shows the scale, like the size of what they are compared to a normal sized person. And so you'll see there's like carrion crawler in here. There's a mind flayer. Now, if you know Dungeons and Dragons at all, these are all very well known creatures. And then here's one that even if you don't know Dungeons and Dragons, you may know of because of the Netflix show Stranger Things. This is the Demogorgon. This is probably now, thanks to Stranger Things, the most well-known Dungeons & Dragons creature. We got displacer beasts, cloud giants. So, yeah, it's really neat the way that they set up this book is that they designed it to be kind of like the way that it progresses through the book is from the lowest level possible all the way to the highest level possible, like geographically. So all the creatures that it starts off with at the beginning are like in caverns and dark places, and then the second chapter is forest, mountains, and other terrains, and then it goes into just giants. Giants is one of them, and then moors, bogs, and boneyards, and then vampires, and then ocean, lakes, and waterways, and then finally the last, well, then there's, mountain peaks and open skies. And then I think, that just includes dragons. That's all the dragons that are possible. And finally, like the very last creature in here, of course, is Tiamat, who is the queen of dragons. She is a 5-headed dragon goddess, essentially. So this is a really neat little book, and you can, it's good not just for young readers, but also for anyone of any age. You can hand it off to your players and be like, here, if you want to learn anything new about the creatures that you may encounter, you can feel free to look at this book, because then your character, like maybe your character knows these things, so here, learn. Like, you may be a bestiary master. And then the second book in the series is Warriors and Weapons. Well, actually, I don't know that's the second book in the series, because they came out on the same day. So the second book that's currently available in the series. Yeah, that makes more sense. So this one basically breaks down the things that you use to make your character in Dungeons & Dragons. So, like, the very first section is the fantasy races. So it has all the races that you can play as. Well, kind of the more baser ones. So there's humans, dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-elves, half-orcs, halflings, dragonborns, kenku, tabaxi, tieflings, and turtles. There's more that you can play as in Dungeons & Dragons, but these are kind of the more baser ones. And then it has a little breakdown of each of them and tells you all about them and little interesting facts about them that you wouldn't find in the player's handbook. And then it talks about a few of the classes that you can be. There's barbarian, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, and rogue. And then for each of them, it has a legendary version of the class. And that would be someone who has appeared in some form of Dungeons & Dragons lore that is of that class. And then it has some of the character backgrounds that you can pick, and then it gets into some of the inventory stuff like clothing, and then it gets into weapons, like the various types of weapons that you can use. And It's all just to help. Oh, and then armor and shields. It's all just to help younger readers understand all these things because it's a short read, but it's all very useful information. And it, like, you hand one of these to a kid, and then you tell them, now we're gonna play a game where you can use all the items or be one of the things that you saw in this book, and you can fight the creatures that you saw in this book. So I think they're really neat, and the artwork in them is really nice. It's all new artwork that was made specifically for these books. So I highly recommend them. They're not that expensive. They're $13 each, so they're really cheap. Now that I'm looking at the back here, it actually makes sense why there's so few classes in this one. So there's 2 more books coming out, and they're supposed to come out in November. And one of them is Dungeons and Tombs, and so that will break down essentially dungeons, the dungeons part of Dungeons and Dragons. We already got the dragons part. Now we need the dungeon part. And then the other book that is coming out in November is Wizards and Spells. So that would probably most likely cover your mages, your warlocks, your druids, your clerics, any magic users. So that's probably going to be in that book. So once you have all 4, it's going to be a great learning tool to get the younger readers and the older readers alike into Dungeons and Dragons before you really get them in, before you hand them the dice and really get them hooked. So yeah, if you're looking to get people into Dungeons and Dragons, I highly recommend picking up these books and just handing them to them and say, hey, check this out. Tell me what do you think? Read this stuff. Is it interesting to you? Because if so, have I got 500 hours of together time that I would like to spend with you over the next 4 years. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below. Have you heard of these books? Have you seen them? Do they seem interesting to you? And if you did see them, did you pick them up? Do you love them? Do your kids love them? Do you love them? Let me know. As I said, I really like them. I think they're really cool little books. They are officially licensed by Wizards of the Coast, so they are official books. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about them. So really, pick them up. They're great to add to your Dungeons and Dragons library. So yeah, let me know in the comments things you like. And while you're down there, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more of the crazy crap that goes on around here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to help support the crazy crap that goes on around here, go ahead and hit my Patreon. Link is in the description. And with that, have a good however long it is until you watch my next video.